You are too busy worried about likes and not worried enough about building a strategy. It is Q3 of the year and we need to get into content creation and looking at marketing from a strategy point. And this is perfect if you're about to launch a campaign, if you're planning for Q4 and holiday sales, or you just wanna take a 90-day sprint into gaining more traction to your YouTube channel, to more clicks, or if you're a real estate agent and you wanna convert more tours, whether you're a coach or Pilates instructor and wanna fill more classes or launch that retreat, you need to get into this video, like and comment right now, what are you manifesting with your business for Q3? We are gonna get into this 6-part strategy on how you can take Q3 from 0 to making at least 5K extra a month. And before you think you're listening to anyone, my name is Jasmine. I'm a certified social media manager, certified project manager, and I also offer one-on-one coaching for small businesses that wanna take it to the next level. First part is we need to define the goal. What is the product? What is the reason on why we're creating this 90-day, 60-day strategy behind this campaign? Because if you don't know where you're going with your content, then you're always gonna be caught in a loop. You need to understand, where are you redirecting your audience? Are they opting in to subscribing to your long form YouTube content? Because YouTube is the best monetization program when it comes to social platforms. So that is a strategy when you see YouTube as a product. Are you selling more of your digital products, your guides, your workshops? Are you an instructor and you're looking to sell your training program that comes with a 90-day digital PDF and a daily YouTube video? You see, when you get people to opt into the bigger picture, you know where you're going with your brand. You're able to measure exactly how much you can make with that campaign and set up a goal, especially when it comes to SMART goals. Very quickly, if you don't know what SMART goals is, it's an acronym and it's a strategy for you to set a very realistic goal and you can achieve it through this tactic. So S stands for specific. We need a specific goal. When we're vague with our audience, when we're vague with our goals, we don't exactly know who to target. M is measurable. How can we measure the success? Measurable is how much inventory do we have, right? Measurable can be how much broadcast and how much we can target with an ad spend. You wanna make sure this is actually measurable. So figure out what exactly you can do, especially when it comes to tracking any clicks, tracking any email opening data. That helps you measure the success. So data is always important. If you need to take extra time to set up that platform, to set up that stand store, you can use my link below. You can try a 2-week trial, because with CRMs like this, you're able to measure the actual clicks, the actual traction when it comes to broadcasting this goal, this product. You want to make sure it's also achievable, okay? So if the goal is to go to outer space and our brand's not even aligned to that, that's not achievable. If the goal is to, launch a retreat, but yet you haven't even done any in-person classes, you haven't created any value for people to see why they should even trust you in that much of a commitment, then it could be a little bit not aligned to being achievable. It needs to be relevant as well. Is it relevant to your brand? That's R. And then T is time-based. The deadline here, what is the timeline that we track our success criteria? Is it a 3-month goal? Is it a 6-month goal? Is it a weekly, maybe flash sale? This is how you can set up your goals with SMART goals. This is part 1 of our strategy. Step 2 of our strategy is knowing your audience. I did a full video on this, on how to target your audience, how to really understand who is the niche, who is your community of your audience. If you want to watch the full video, you can tap here and we can kind of like breeze through this section and you can really watch that video to get a full understanding. But so knowing your audience is probably going into a deep dive on your analytics on the back end of Instagram, TikTok. Really look at who's been commenting, what kind of content have you been doing. Like at this point, you should know your audience. So that's why we're gonna go through this part and you're gonna watch this full video to get an understanding understanding of your audience. It is very important to understand the platforms you are going to be posting on, right? So most social media managers, most digital experts would say be everywhere, right? But obviously when this is like your first big campaign, whether you're coming back and redefining your approach to building campaigns, it's important to know exactly where your strengths are. So if you're on Instagram, you should definitely be on Threads. I've gained so much traction through Threads. I think it's a perfect way to post carousels, to do maybe weekly check-ins and posting guides on there. Threads has an amazing SEO software in the background. When I'm telling you, they pick up on the keywords and your For You page is just blasting with the same keywords that you use. It's actually really incredible for targeting. So if you want to be more long form, if you want to be more of a coach like your girl is here, you probably want to consider YouTube. You want to consider YouTube, do more talking head videos, more long form videos, but you can also repurpose it, use those days of filming talking head videos to also do your shorts as well. If you have a lot of digital guides, products, I would highly consider Pinterest as well. I am still getting traction on Pinterest, even though I haven't posted in a year, because I have a ton of guides on there. It's a great way to directly shift your audience or to shift that viewer to your link, because the link and the conversions are there are really great. And when you know the platform that you're using, you're able to keep up with the market shifts as well. So if you are looking to do like maybe some entertainment content, Facebook is a great place to be on. They have a great monetization system as well. If you're like an in-service, maybe you have a body waxing studio, maybe you have a yoga studio, highly consider TikTok. I do the marketing for 2 apartment complexes here in Miami. And when I tell you the traction is way better on TikTok than it is on Instagram, it's because TikTok is also being used as a search engine. But in studio places might not be friendly for the great search engine of YouTube. You know, like YouTube is good for more so like coaches, podcasting, experts. Doesn't mean you can't draw attention to a studio or a building or an in-person facility on YouTube. It just might be a little harder and it might take a little bit more strategy. When you fail to plan, you plan to fail, okay? And that is part 4 of our strategy, is planning our content distribution, planning our posting, planning our content filming days, planning the editing. Like time blocking is very important and organization is very important. If you want to take the time while you're building out these parts of your strategy to create a timeline, as a certified project manager, I think it's super important to create a Gantt chart, some type of chart and deadlines for each section of your project. The project is the discovery phase, the strategy phase, the execution phase, which could be the filming, right? And also the editing. And then you also have the tracking phase, the measuring phase. How well did it do, right? Because it's very important to take the time to track our campaigns as well. So when we're going into the next one, we know what to do with that information. Like the great Alex Hormozi says, you spend more time on the critique, like what didn't we do well on. I'm also in the phase where I'm getting out of my feelings, and it's very important to get out of your feelings when it comes to what you didn't do well in your business. You wanna focus on executing. The more time you are critiquing yourself, it can be the time that you are actually executing on being better at that critique. It's all about perspective here. Super important to utilize scheduling tools within these platforms. So like Instagram, if you want to have the scheduling set up there, that's important. If you need to have a reminder on your phone to actually post the TikTok post that you have queued up, that can be important as well. On YouTube, you can schedule long form media. On Pinterest, you can schedule as well. I think the YouTube shorts are a little finicky when I try to post it and schedule it on mobile. It's not as friendly as scheduling it on YouTube, but when you schedule it on YouTube, it's like you can't really pull the trending music. It's very weird. So Shorts is probably another one where you need to set a reminder for you to actually post it, but you can have everything drafted and queued up. If you have a team, a VA, it's super important to have these SOPs and systems within your campaign. I think that is so important to create SOPs as you are going. Kind of very counterproductive when we take the time to create all these processes before we actually do it, versus doing, understanding, slowing down to create the SOP, using free AI tools to help you build SOPs. You see yourself as a business, you are gonna have to grow a team, because when you get to the CEO level, the CEO is really the one who is overlooking the team. But you can't build a successful team without successful statements of processes. Part 5 of your strategy could also be planning partnerships and collaborations. I've had the most success in this last month when it comes to collaborations. There are certain things where money can't buy. I'm being honest with you. So while you're building your strategy, really think about the partnerships that can propel you in your authority within your niche in business. So for example, if I am building my media agency, if I want to do more events again, if I want to build my portfolio for a specific target audience, I'm gonna go ahead and partner with the people and really offer my services of content creation for free, so I can have that on my portfolio. I can have that authority to charge the next partner, to charge the next client. And 9 times out of 10, when I'm doing these collaborations, I'm also gaining more followers, which means I'm growing my community. How can you grow community? How can you grow collaborations? How can you grow partnerships? Is part 5, because honestly, that is going to propel your campaign, that's going to propel your brand the most. While you're building this campaign, think about how are 2 ways you can speak, how you can collaborate, but also how are there 2 ways that you can show up and really expose yourself to a new group of people. So going to new networking events, maybe if you need to go to one new networking event that month, but if you have this campaign plan, you're not gonna feel overwhelmed because you'll have it planned in advance. So if Q3, the goal is to plan Q4, that's fine. If we want to really pick up the momentum, take 2 to 3 weeks planning your campaign, planning your content, editing your content, because as the campaign is running, you want to be excelling in the energy of you. The energy that is so pure and so resourceful when it comes to speaking and doing those collaborations. When it's time to collaborate, you don't want to come up dry, you don't want to come up performative, you don't want to come up, scripted. You want to feel that fluidity, that feminine energy, that sacral chakra energy activated as you are doing that collaboration. So that's why it's super important for you to even tap into part 4, which is the planning, which is the timelines, right? Because when it comes to part 5 and doing and actually being in those collaborations and partnerships and executing in that way, you want to feel the most authentic version of yourself. Part 6 is measuring and adjusting. So as we are executing these campaigns, there are probably going to be times where you should have a weekly check-in to look into the data, or maybe bi-weekly. Maybe also check in with your team for some critique as well. To maybe start the meeting with what are some things that we feel like we're struggling with, and then end it with the positivity, because the positivity could, like when we start with the question, the answer could come up more fluid. Another part would be maybe running some analytic data campaigns and running how your ads did on a monthly basis. Having a budget for an ad to run throughout this campaign could be very important, because that can give you data as well. Exposing yourself to that tracking in which you set up is going to help you really flow into that next campaign and just be a better business owner overall. Whether your business niche is content, whether your business niche is being a fitness instructor, Pilates instructor, whether your business is being a realtor or a real estate professional and you need to fill in the spaces in your apartment complex, it is super important to take the time to build a strategy and stop making content just because you're going to burn yourself out. All right, Social Nova fam, this honestly has been the most resourceful video I felt like I've created. I feel like I'm in flow, even though I have an outline here for you guys. I feel like I can honestly speak this strategy into existence for you guys, because I've done it for myself, I've done it for clients. I've grown client views of 4 million views within 2 months, just by having a strategy and really making sure we are falling in these guidelines. If you want to book a one-on-one with me or you want to join the Social Nova coaching community, go ahead, check the link out below. We can get you started. Whether you also need social media management for your business, I also provide that as well. YouTube thinks you'll like this video, but honestly, I feel like you'll like this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.